Hello, my friend, and welcome to Journey to Well. My name's Hannah, and today we're going to be talking about how we can use our human design in our business to align our business to prevent burnout, to prevent overwhelm, to come from a place of confidence and authority and knowing. And we're going to talk about 4 aspects of our human design chart. So if you're new to human design can feel a little bit overwhelming when we start. However, my goal on this channel, on this platform, is to make human design easily digestible, especially in business. There are so many things that we can learn about our unique blueprint that will help us in our business find more success, find more authenticity, find more alignment. And we're going to talk about just 4 aspects of human design today. So number 1, we're going to talk about energy type. We're going to talk about authority, strategy, and profile. So let's start with our energy type. In human design, we have 5 energy types. You are either a generator, a manifestor, a manifesting generator, a projector, or a reflector. And this is how your energy moves throughout the world, how you can use your unique energy in your business, how you show up for work, in life, in relationships. So let's break down each of the 5 energy types. Number 1, let's start with generators. Generators have a very consistent, steady energy throughout the day. I always explain to my generators and manifesting generator clients that we have a big battery, and our invitation and our goal throughout the day is to drain that battery fully, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Generators are also the builders of the world. They're here to generate ideas and see them to fruition. Generators, when doing what lights them up, this is the most important conversation piece when we're talking about generators. When you're doing what lights you up, when you're doing what feels very aligned, you're very magnetic and very productive. So here's your biggest invitation if you are a generator in human design, is to find what lights you up. When you think about it, when you start doing it, what is innately bringing you energy and lighting you up? This is where we can get into the conversation of strategy, so make sure to watch that video. But following your strategy, following where in your body you can tap into to connect and ask, is this something that's aligned? Is this something that's misaligned? And following what is aligned and feels magnetic and energetic to you. So let's talk manifestors. Manifestors are the only energy type here on this planet that can initiate. So manifestors are here to bring the ideas, to bring the vision, to create things out of thin air that have never been done before, have never been seen before. They thrive when they have the freedom to act on their ideas and their visions. Manifestors, your invitation here is to make sure that you are informing others in your cohorts, in your teams, other clients that you're working with, even what you're doing, what your ideas are, and how you're going about to achieve them. Manifestors have smaller batteries, so you might find these spurts of inspiration, these spurts of ideas, and then you might find that you need to retreat and pull away and get out of other people's energy and take time to recharge your own battery. So how you can bring this knowledge into your business is really feeling into when you feel inspired, when you feel like initiating, when you feel called to initiate and bring something into this world. And then when you feel like retreating and going back into your shell, taking that time to recuperate, recover. It's not just a time to rest and do nothing. When manifestors take that time to retreat, that's oftentimes when you get your next downloads and your next messages of what you want to initiate and bring into the world. To my manifesting generators, if you haven't guessed it yet, yes, we are a combination of manifestors and generators. So think of these 2 types that we just talked about, but honestly, we are our own unique energy. We're not just a combination of a manifestor and a generator. We have our own energy that we can bring to the world. So manifesting generators are here to multitask. We can be really interested in 5 different things at once and try to complete all of them. The kind of bad rap that manifesting generators get is that we don't complete anything because we have our hands in so many different pots at one time. But we're truly here to be multi-passionate, to be multi-dimensional. One thing that you can harness if you are a manifesting generator in your business is the ability to pivot and change directions and do various tasks very quickly. That is your superpower. And to my projectors, projectors are here to be the guides and the leaders of the world. Projectors are not necessarily here to do all of the things. Projectors have a really beautiful big picture ability to zoom out and see the full picture of what's going on and let us know down on the floor, the generators, manifestors and manifesting generators, what we can do better, what we can tweak, what would be a more sustainable way to move through whatever we're moving through, whatever project we're moving through in business. So projectors, you also have these small batteries similar to manifestors. And your invitation is to feel into when that battery is drained. And again, pull yourself out of other people's energy. Give those open or undefined centers time to clear out. If you don't know what I'm talking about with centers, make sure you keep following along. We talk a lot about centers on this platform. But make sure that you give yourself time to regenerate your own energy, because your energy can be very easily absorbed and you can be sucked into the generator and manifesting generators' energy. And your invitation is to make sure that you're staying in your own energy, because you have your own unique gifts. Your superpowers lie in your ability to manage, to advise, to lead, and to guide. And to my reflectors out there, reflectors are truly here to be that reflective mirror of everyone else's energy around. I always say that reflectors are like the wise old sages that used to be the leaders of tribes and in communities, that are truly here to see the projection of where we're going as a community, as a human race. Reflectors truly benefit from taking time to make decisions. So one of the strategies of reflectors is to wait a lunar cycle, which is roughly 27 to 28 days. So if you are a reflector in business, making sure that you can take your time to feel into what feels right, what feels aligned for you, what feels like the proper next steps. Don't feel like you need to hastily run into a situation just because your manifesting generator next door can pivot to 10 different things before you pivot one time. Connecting to our energy types gives us this incredible permission slip, to be ourselves, to harness our unique energy, and to fully align with our authentic self. I am curious to hear what resonates within your energy type conversation and what you want to learn more about. We're going to continue having a lot of deep conversation about human design, and I would love to chat more about what you find particularly intriguing. Okay, so let's continue this conversation and move into our authority. So our authority is how we best make decisions. Our authority is our inner voice, depending on what kind of authority you have, which we'll dive into. But our authority is the way that we can connect to our body, to check in, to see if we're making an aligned decision. If this decision is in flow and in alignment with who we are and where we want to go. So let's start with emotional authority. Emotional authorities make up roughly 58% of the population, and this is a very basic intro to emotional authorities, so there's a little bit more behind this. One of the benefits of working with a human design coach is you can dive deeper, but let's leave this very easily digestible. So emotional authorities, you are here to ride your emotional wave when making a decision. So one of the most powerful things that I can share with my emotional authority clients is give yourself time. Giving yourself that time to make a decision, whether that is a few hours, because you have to make a decision that day or a few days. Ideally, especially when you're making a large decision, you want to give yourself as much time as you possibly can. Another important thing to note with our emotional authorities is that you're 80% certain is other authorities 100% certain. So when we get into chatting about the sacral authority and the splenic authority, we have very definite yes, no's. Emotional authorities, you have I'm pretty sure this is the right decision for me. This feels pretty aligned. I feel pretty excited towards this, but I'm still not 100% certain. And that is okay. Feel into riding the emotional wave before you make a decision, because your emotions are going to be affected by other people's energy, other energy types' energy. So as you are making a decision, see if you can chat it out or discuss or weigh your options in multiple different scenarios with different energy types. And be sure to view your options and take note of how you're feeling emotionally towards an idea or a prospect when you're in your own energy. Pull yourself out of every other energy types, every other person. Go home, sit alone, take a bath, whatever feels very centering for you. Maybe do a meditation, do some breath work, and feel into your decision by yourself. Let's move to our sacral authorities. So our sacral authorities, you have a defined sacral center, manifesting generator. You are really, the sacral center is one of our power centers, and we have very strong bodily ahas. And I'm using my hand like this if you're watching the video, because our ahas, typically we feel like we're leaning in. Our typically we feel like we are leaning out. Another way that I describe it is you're feeling very open with your yeses, very contracted with your no's. The more that I lean into this, I've actually found my body leaning forward, leaning back when I'm really excited about something or I'm talking to someone and it's a full body yes for me. I am leaning in. And when it's a full body no for me, I'm like, maybe not. I don't think so. An important thing to remember with sacral authorities is that your unsureness, your hesitancy means a no. And it doesn't mean no forever. It means not right now. So that's a really important thing for sacral authorities to understand, that it doesn't mean that we can't, that it's going to be a no forever. The sacral center speaks in the now. So when we're asking ourselves, when we're playing around with tapping into the sacral authority and we're asking ourselves, do I want tacos for dinner? If you're watching this near dinner time, do I want Italian food for dinner? It's in the moment. It's not, do I want Italian food a week from now for dinner? It's today. Do I want Italian food right now? Moving on to our splenic authorities. So you have a defined spleen center. The splenic authority, I always say that they're kind of similar to the sacral authority, although we have very big differences. But it still is a very bodily response. Although from all of my splenic authority clients and talking to other splenic authorities, it's more of this intuitive knowing. So it's not necessarily like I feel my body being pulled forward and pulled back, although you certainly can, but it's more, I just feel like this is not right. I just feel uncomfortable in this situation. Splenic authorities have this really beautiful ability to walk into a room and know and feel that this is not for them, or feel that this is for them, and really leaning into that in your business, leaning into your intuitive knowledge. Splenic authorities always laugh when I tell them about this, because they're always like, yeah, I just feel it and I can't explain why. I can't explain with logic why I feel a certain way. That is your superpower. Lean into that and trust that your intuition is guiding you. And again, it's not necessarily a forever situation. It can be a right now. this doesn't feel aligned. And that is okay. So a self-projected or G-center authority, they make up about 1.7% of the population. Self-projected authorities have a really beautiful ability to zoom out, see the full picture. You do really well with getting all of your thoughts, all of what you're grappling with, all of your options outside of you, whether that is having a conversation with a trusted friend or confidant, or it's journaling. So depending on how you feel in each situation, if you are talking to someone else, making sure it's an unbiased, objective third party that doesn't have any connection regarding the decision that you are making, because you don't want their energy or their words to be swaying you to make a decision. It's truly just using them as a sounding board to get everything that's inside of you outside. And one of the biggest invitations for my self-projected authorities is to notice how you're speaking when you're speaking about your options. So making a, what are those things called? A pros and cons list, right? And even if you're speaking that out loud or journaling about it, when you're journaling about it, it's not necessarily exactly every pro and every con and weighing like, well, I have way more cons or I have way more pros. Noticing how you feel and how you are writing or how you're speaking about the two options. Does this feel like me? Does this option feel aligned with me and my vision, or does it feel like someone else? Moving on to the ego or heart authority, you make up about 1.3% of the population. So you are led by your heart, as you might assume. Being very connected with what you want and being very connected with your truth. Ego and heart authorities have this beautiful, like childlike innocence, connecting to the inner child, your inner child, when making a decision would be super beneficial and supportive for you. When ego or heart authorities speak from an unfiltered place, when they just speak it out loud, what they want, their desires, that's typically what you actually want. Your invitation here is to get out of your mind, your thinking mind, weighing all of the options of how this decision would affect this person or that person, or what logically makes sense, and truly just speak from your heart. What do you want? What would make you happy? One way to strengthen the communication with this authority is finding a quiet place, centering yourself, whatever brings you calm and whatever helps you feel grounded and centered, and asking yourself a question that your heart would say yes to, and feel into that. What does that feel like in your body? What sensations arise? What thoughts arise? What feelings in your body show up? And then ask yourself a question that your heart would say no to, and feel into that. What sensations arise in your body? Where does that no show up in your body? How does it show up? Is there a color or a sensation or a temperature or an image that shows up? And feel into the yes and the no. That way you can strengthen that yes and that no knowing when you're making your next decision. So to our mental or environmental or outer authorities, you make up about 1.6% of the population. And here is actually one of the only authorities besides the lunar authority that is an outward decision-making authority. So what I mean by that is that environment plays a huge role when you are making a decision. It's not that you can't go inward and listen to your guidance, because we all have all of the authorities within us ultimately, because all of the authorities come from a different center, except for the outward and the lunar. So you have that splenic center within you, whether it's undefined, open, or defined, so you can still tap into that energy. But in order to strongly tap into that energy, using your authority, which is your primary decision-making process, is focusing on your environment. Making decisions where you feel the most safe, the most calm, the most able to be yourself. And that includes people. So talking it out and having a sounding board is really important with our mental authorities, just like our self-projected authorities. However, again, making sure they are an unbiased, safe person where you don't feel like you have to put on a face or put on a mask to make sure that you don't hurt their feelings while you're discussing this decision. Making sure that they are an unbiased sounding board that is truly here to just listen and witness your process. They don't even really need to respond unless they have that true ability to guide and just see the full picture. They don't really need to respond. They just need to witness you and allow you to move through your process. Again, with our mental or outer authorities, time is a gift for you. Giving yourself time to make a decision, putting yourself in different environments and seeing how you feel, weighing both options of your decision or the multiple options of your decision is really going to be supportive for you. And finally, we have our lunar authorities. They make up about 0.7% of the population because a lunar authority can only be a reflector, and reflectors only make up 1% of the population. So a lunar authority is giving yourself that lunar cycle to make a decision, allowing yourself to go through that full cycle of high energy, low energy, creativity, tying up loose ends, weighing all of your options depending on how you're feeling that day, and almost similar to the emotional authority of allowing yourself to ride that wave throughout the lunar cycle in your decision-making process. What feels right for you and for your community? That's a really good question to ask if you are a lunar authority. So let's get into our strategy in human design. Your strategy is linked to your energy type. And so there are 5 different strategies ultimately. Using our strategy in business is a really great way that we can gain new clients and gather what information we can put more of out into the world and what our clients or what would serve our community the best. By listening to our strategy and listening to our community. So let's start with generators. Your strategy is wait to respond. Generators and manifesting generators to some extent, we need to have a stimulus to respond to. We need to have something to respond to. So in business, this could look like someone commenting on a reel and saying, this is a really, really cool topic. I would love to learn more about this, right? That is an invitation to respond to. It could be being presented with information or coming across a new reel on Instagram that you feel is super exciting and intriguing and lights you up that you want to talk more about or create your own video about. It could be having a conversation or overhearing a conversation in the workroom, in the break room, that you're like, oh, that information, I didn't know that people didn't know that about this aspect of my job, or I know that I can talk more eloquently and more efficiently about this topic, so let me create a presentation about it, right? So you figure out how you can apply this to your life and your specific business. But your invitation here is to begin noticing what opportunities, invitations, situations that you are being invited to respond to. Manifestors, your strategy is to initiate. So all of the other 4 energy types, we have this wait to respond. And the waiting is not like sitting on our bums, just twiddling our fingers, right? It's just finding that slight pause before we respond, before we go ahead and initiate something. So manifestors, actually, you're the only energy type that doesn't have to wait, although you are kind of waiting because you're waiting for that download of what it is to bring into the world, but you don't need to wait for anyone else. You might be waiting for yourself, but you don't need to wait for anyone else in the world or in the business community. You are able to simply initiate. So you get that download and then you start the process. I will remind you, my beautiful manifestors and manifesting generators, to make sure that you are informing before you start initiating. So inform the people around you what you are initiating, what you're calling into the world, and what help you need. Because manifestors, you're here to initiate and get the ball rolling. You're not necessarily here to see it to completion. So if you're not here to see it to completion, you need someone on your team that understands what you are initiating, why you're initiating it, what the goal is behind this initiation, and how they can continue rolling that ball down until it completes its process, until it fully comes into fruition. Because that's not your job. You're here to start and initiate. Manifesting generators, our strategy is a little bit twofold. It's wait to respond and inform. So manifesting generators, we're here to, just like generators, wait for some sort of stimulus, some sort of invitation, some sort of situation that we feel that lit upness, we feel that full body yes. If you are a sacral authority, even if you're not, you have a defined sacral center. So you're going to feel that full body yes. And then before you start running, because Manny Gens, we're here to get shit done very quickly. So before you start running, make sure you inform those around you what you are doing. Because Manny Gens move so quickly in the world, it can be very hard for others to keep up. So making sure that we're informing those around us, our business partners, our clients, again, our partners, even our friends, what we're doing and why, sometimes depending on the relationship, then you go ahead and get shit done. Projectors, your strategy is to wait for the invitation. So because you have all of this beautiful guidance, all of this powerful knowledge, and you have that big picture ability to see things in different perspectives than other people or other energy types might see things, you have all of this beautiful information, and it can be so exciting and really difficult for you to wait for somebody to energetically or verbally extend an invitation to get your knowledge. However, when you are kind of forcing people, when you're forcing your knowledge on people, that information is going to fall on deaf ears, and that would lead to you feeling in your not self theme because you're not really feeling aligned is what it comes down to. So waiting for the invitation, this could be a verbal invitation of, hey, can I learn more about this? Or, hey, what are your thoughts on this idea or this topic? It could also just be an energetic invitation. So when you're having a conversation with someone, or when you're sharing, maybe you're giving a presentation or giving a workshop, and you see those Manny Gens or those sacral authorities leaning in, that's an invitation that they want to learn more. If you see someone when you're having a conversation with them turning towards you and energetically positioning their body to receive more information, that's an invitation. It doesn't always have to be a verbal invitation. It could also just be someone comments on a reel that you post and they say, hey, I really love this video that you just made. That's an invitation. And reflectors, your strategy is to wait that lunar cycle. So giving yourself that time to move through how you want to reach out to potential new clients, or what information you want to present to the world. What would best serve your community? You're going to lean into that throughout a lunar cycle and then go ahead and present your information. And that's how it's going to be most easily absorbed by others. You can also use your self theme, which we're not talking about the self and not self theme in this particular workshop. However, you can use your self theme of surprise to lean into, is this something for me? Is this something that's not aligned? Or I feel surprised, so this could be great information to bring to my community for the greater good, for the continuation of the big picture, or I feel disappointed. This is not something that I want. So for time's sake, and to keep this very easily digestible, this is truly meant to just be an intro. We're not going to go over each of the 12 different profiles. What I'm going to do is give a brief introduction of what our profile is, and then talk about certain numbers in our profile. So our profile is like our personality. Our profile is what we uniquely bring, how we uniquely show up in this world. And tapping into and learning our profile gives us insight of how we were created to show up in this world, and how we're created to allow and lean into sharing information with our community, gaining new clients, showing up authentically and aligned. So we have 2 different numbers in our profile. If you see your profile written out, it's going to look like a fraction. So it might be 1/3, 2/5, 6/3, 5/1. And all of these numbers mean something different. And again, one of the benefits of working one-on-one exclusively together is that we can dive into what your specific number combination means and how you can show up authentically in this world. But I'm just going to give a few examples so you can kind of get a taste of what your profile might mean. So let's start with the profile number 1, whether you have this in your first number or your second number. And it does make a difference, but for, again, intro purposes, we're not going to dive into that in this video. But if you have a 1 in your profile, the 1 is the data collector. The 1 line is all about learning. They're kind of those lifelong learners. So if you have a 1 in your profile, you might find that you are constantly learning new information, learning new things, and you really enjoy knowing where people got information from. When they're talking about a specific topic, you might enjoy when they have that reference sheet going through and seeing where they gathered all their information from. How you can show up in your business if you are a 1 line is showing up with authority. Because you do so much research and you gather so much information, when you decide to share that with your community, you have a place to stand on. You have a foundation because you likely have spent a deep dive. So when you are presenting information to your community, stand on that authority, stand on that foundation. Our 3 lines are here to be the experimenters of the world. So again, whether you have this 3 line in your first line, their first number, or the second number, 3s are the experimenters. They learn through trial and error. So truly settling into, I might fail at this, and that's okay. That's okay if I fail because I'm learning something, because I'm here truly to experiment and then share that experimentation with my community. So how you can show up in your community is truly sharing, this is what I learned if it didn't work out. This is what I learned if it did work out. Let me share my process with you. And then a lot of times what we can do is condense our maybe 3-year process of learning something and learning the ups and the downs and the ins and the outs, and condense that into a 1-hour workshop and say, here's all the information packaged up neatly for you. If you have a 4 line in your profile, relationships is how you thrive. So oftentimes you will find that the biggest opportunities in your life, in your business, in your relationships comes from who you know. So you might have gotten introduced to your husband or your partner or your wife through a mutual friend. You might have found this huge business opportunity, this huge business deal through mutual friends. You might find that you love to be that connector, that person that people come to and say, hey, I really need to be introduced to so-and-so type of person. And you're like, yep, I got it. Let me help you out. So building relationships and having that strong foundation of strong, secure, safe relationships is really important for you in your business so that you can, again, have that foundation to jump off of and truly thrive. If you have a 2 in your profile, the 2 line is known as the hermit. So you thrive in taking time to kind of go back into your cave, go back into your safe space, whether that's your home or finding that safety in a partner or a relationship. But you do really well in giving yourself that break from other people and other energies. It's not that you are an introverted person. I've met plenty of people that have 2s in their profile lines that feel like they're very extroverted people and really love being with people, especially if you have the 4 line in your profile. So if you have like the 2-4, so you might find that you need that time to go back into your space and recharge. And that's where you're going to get a lot of your downloads. That's where you're going to get a lot of your clarity of how you want to show up, what you want to bring to the table in your business. The 5 line is known as kind of this like savior complex. So the 5 lines tend to be very wise. They tend to have a lot of innate knowledge that they're here to share with the world. The 5 lines, it's really important for you to be mindful of who you are sharing your wisdom with. Is it those energy suckers that are just going to keep taking and taking and taking and taking, or showing up and asking you for help because they know that you can help them? But the 5 line invitation, if you have a 5 in your profile, is to really begin to navigate, is this energy something that I want to show up for? Is this community, is this person, is this opportunity something that's going to light me up, bring me energy, feels aligned with me? Or am I in that situation where it's someone is feeling my energy, feeling my knowledge, and is taking advantage of that, or is just not in alignment with me? Because they're going to find their energy, they're going to find their answers somewhere else because they're searching for it. So you don't always have to be that person that is constantly giving all of your energy. 5 lines have this beautiful invitation to find boundaries and create boundaries in their relationship, in their business, in their life. And finally, we have our 6 lines. So 6 lines are interesting because they go through almost 3 different stages within their life. So the first stage, which is roughly age 0 to 30 or before your Saturn return, the 6 lines live more like a 3 line. So go back and listen to the 3 line conversation and see what resonates with you. But you only live in that experimentation, trial and error for the first 30 years, although you kind of might feel like you live in it forever, just underlying. But the second stage of your life from 30 to 50 is called this going up on the roof. So you have this time of maybe even adopting a little bit of that 2 line, that hermit. You're going up on the roof. You're pulling yourself out of like being down on the field and gathering all of the information, all of the experimentation that you've gone through, all of the experiences that you have underwent in your first 30 years, and beginning to integrate them and turn them into, eventually, when you are in that 3rd stage of life, when you turn into that wise sage, when you turn into that ability to share all of your innate wisdom, all of your lessons for growth of the community, for the betterment of humanity ultimately. So if you feel like you have been running on the hamster wheel in your business, you've been listening to all of the business coaches and implementing all of their proven strategies that will definitely work for you, and they just haven't been resonating. If you feel like you've been living in force and you're really forcing a lot in your business and your life, and you want to find those times, more of those times when you feel like you're living in flow, when you feel like everything is just kind of working out, everything is coming to me, I am magnetizing, I am manifesting what I desire rather than chasing and forcing and working really, really hard. If you feel like you are ready to try something new and you're tired of being sold the this will definitely work. This is going to change your life. This is what you need to do. This is your blueprint for success. It might be because you're following a blueprint of success for someone else's energy type, profile, authority, someone else's design. And it's not saying that they're lying. It probably worked for them. It definitely did work for them if they found success in their business. But it doesn't mean that it's going to work necessarily for you. So if you're ready to live in more flow, find more clarity, more confidence, avoid burnout, truly live in this space of authenticity and alignment, this program I have is for you. It's called Align, and it's a one-on-one coaching container where we dive into your unique design, where we dive into following the cycle, our cycle as a woman. We go through different cycles and different phases each month because we are women and we're connected to the seasons and Mother Earth and the universe. And so we go through, which we call our menstrual cycle, we go through 4 different phases. And if you're ready to learn how to live in more alignment and how that will affect and grow your business, grow your confidence and your success, then check out Align below. You can book a connection call. I would love to chat with you. These tools have truly been life-changing for me, and that's why I share them with the world. So I have found cycle alignment, somatic breath work, human design to be the 3 most powerful and potent and life-changing tools for me because it's not coming from me. I'm not telling you the best way to show up for your business in regards to what worked for me. I'm telling you the best way that you can show up. I'm empowering you to explore the best way that you can show up for your business according to your unique design. I would love to chat. Schedule a connection call below and make sure you follow, you subscribe, you write reviews so we can continue to have more of these conversations about human design, cycle alignment, and breath work. I will see you soon, my friend. Be well.